A Governor Bottoms, what would be the future of tax breaks for data centers, and what regulations would you propose for new data centers?
I just want us to pause. I want us to gather all the information, factual information, and then make a determination on how we move forward. I can tell you, when I'm moving around the state, a lot of people are concerned about the environmental impact. They're also concerned about the rising cost of utility bills. But I've also talked with some leaders, especially in our rural communities, who are saying that having data centers there helps them balance their budget. So I am respectful of everyone's thoughts on it, but at the end of the day, we got to separate fact from fiction. And we don't have enough facts on data centers to make an informed decision on how we move forward. We need a pause.
I'm about to call bullshit on that one. Tim Black, why are you calling BS on Keisha Lance Bottoms? I love Keisha Lance Bottoms. She's so attractive and smart and down to earth. People won't admit they want you to like who they like. And if you don't, they just call you a hater. Keisha Lance Bottoms, if you remember, she was the mayor of Atlanta. So what I'm about to say about Keisha Lance Bottoms and these data centers, I gotta say that because I'm gonna be Tim Black always. But I first want to let you know she most likely gonna be the governor. I said she most likely gonna be governor. But see, she can still get criticized. She run a primary. So she going up against a Republican. And word on the street is she about 3 points up, maybe 4. Keisha Lance Bottoms won decisively. No runoff in her case, right? She won it right out. Because Keisha said it, we don't have enough data on the data centers. Mrs. Bottoms, you're playing from the bottom of the deck. You know you got enough information. I got 10 reasons why people don't want the data centers. Air pollution. Yeah, it's hard to breathe. Massive electricity demand forces utilities to burn more fossil fuels. We got water depletion. Everybody talks about this. Those two off the top, instant. You don't have to dig for it. All you got to do is do like this. Water. Costs a lot of water to cool the fans in those computers in those data centers. Then we got water contamination. Water related. That's 3 reasons right there. And also, the data centers are loud, really loud, unnervingly loud. I wonder if the people in Georgia want that noise. Now, here goes one in Maryland. Us folks in Maryland, we know about this. Higher electricity bills. Thank you, Governor Wes Moore. Yeah, that makes me, every time I see him smiling and smirking and shit, that makes me want to just stick a pole in his spokes. Data centers strain local grids. Utilities invest in new infrastructure. And those costs are passed to the residents. In Virginia, data centers consume 26% of the state's electricity, contributing to rising rates. I don't know what the numbers are in Maryland, but I can tell you, our bills went up. It's all the way up, all the way up. It's all the way up, all the way up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 5. I just got her 5 reasons. She said, we don't have enough information. We don't know. But she said she was talking to some business people who said, this might help our bottom line. Grid instability. Yeah, it makes you have blackouts and brownouts more often. That's what happens. That happens here a lot. We have blackouts. You have land use conflicts. I don't even know what that is. It don't sound good. Check this out. Data centers require enormous footprints. Damn, 1 million square feet. Jesus, Mugabe. Replacing farmland, forests, or residential land with industrial complexes. Communities object to the loss of green space in neighborhood character. Number 8. And this is a big one, fam, and I did not know this. This caught me off guard. Because I thought, hey, Keisha Lance Bottoms just said the person, the business sector, told her that the bottom line is improved. Improved by these data centers. And I'm like, okay, how can that be true if this is true? One of the complaints is minimal job creation. Guess what, guys? It turns out a big-ass facility full of nothing but computers don't need a lot of people running them. They run themselves. In fact, you can monitor that shit remotely. You just need like one more phone there in case the connection breaks. So it ain't a bunch of jobs. So you got a bunch of space and a whole bunch of usage, but you don't have a bunch of local people getting jobs. Basically none. Despite billion-dollar construction costs, data centers create very few long-term jobs. Just long enough to build that shit. You need people to build it. AI can't build a building. Once everything's in and once everything's put together, y'all be good now. Don't spend it all in one place because we won't need you again. Isn't that something? Keisha Lance Bottoms left that out. How Keisha Lance Bottoms leave out no job creation, very little job creation, no bang for the buck on jobs? How can you really incentivize people by putting something in place that's going to not only make it louder, more congested, make it less healthy, the air and the water, and raise the price of electricity, and cause more blackouts? You understand what I'm saying? They must be contributing to campaigns. Here goes the kicker. This don't make sense, yo. As a governor, she should be pissed. This is why you think people don't like Wes Moore because he's black. I get these comments all the time. Anytime a black person disapproves of a black politician, you get coon called. You get called a raccoon. They don't know anything about the person. They don't know about the policies, what they've done, nothing. They just see black, you black, why don't you rock with them? Who were the people that told Keisha Lance Bottoms that data centers are good for the economy if it doesn't bring in meaningful amounts of jobs, messes up the water and the air, noise pollution, all this shit, blackouts, and it decreases your tax. It says tax revenue loss. No, it doesn't. It doesn't give you a minimum amount of tax increase. It takes away tax revenue. It says tax revenue loss. This is important for you to know this because they're going to say, somebody going to shout out, we need jobs. We can use the tax revenue. You need to tell them we're going to have less tax revenue. And here's why. Incentives and exemptions reduce local tax bases, shifting financial burdens to residents and schools. So the companies that set up shop, they get incentives. And then part of their incentives are paying less taxes. They get the hookup. Last thing, here goes number 10. Here's number 10, y'all. Environmental injustice. Developers disproportionately target vulnerable, underinvested, often majority black or Latino communities and sacrifice those. What that means is they're going to build that data center on top of your house or right around the corner. Yeah. We're going to put it in neighborhoods where you can't do shit about it, where you don't have the political capital. And we're going to put it where black people in because, you know, black and Latinos, because we want to do our share of not putting jobs in the city, So that's like the last thing we need. If you live in a black area, you already know due to the historical disenfranchising of black workers, black men and women and families, when it comes to resources in those communities. And we know how our schools are funded through our taxes. The last thing we need is businesses paying less tax in our communities. That's the last thing we need. We need that like a penny with a hole in it. Remember that track? So in a nutshell, you got high bills, louder neighborhoods, dirtier air, disappearing water, no meaningful jobs, and tax breaks that help corporations, not communities.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Yeah, fam. And Keisha Lance Bottoms said, nothing comes to mind. Why don't you want the data center there? Nothing comes to mind. Now, she didn't do that bad. She gave us like two things. And then try to make it seem even, like it was really a close call. But some of our business people say, and our rural businesses say, it will be good for their bottom lines. I'm trying to tell y'all, everywhere that Keisha Lance Bottoms goes, when she talks about data centers, she gets questioned about those data centers. I know she does, because that's what happened to Wes Moore. Not Wesley. Wes Moore, but Governor Wes Moore goes somewhere. That's the first thing. People are in his ass about this. And I'm trying to tell you, he be ducking like he be ducking. He be looking like Nino from the Matrix. Trying to duck questions. So you know Keisha is spry. You know, she kind of thick. She ain't moving fast enough. So they are bombarding her ass with questions. Yeah, they are the citizens are pushing back hard on this. There is no upside for taxpayers. The only taxpayers talking about data centers are dum-dums voting against their best interests. You know what they would say? But Tim Black, Keisha Lance Bottoms is black, and you gotta support it anyway. That's what was our problem. Man, they miss all the mission. Man, you missing all the mission. Well, you know that thing that Dr. Claude Anderson said. Keisha Lance Bottoms will most likely be your governor. The question is that going to be a good thing when she can't be honest about this shit? Keisha Lance Bottoms, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below about those data centers, about Keisha Lance Bottoms. You happy for her winning? She ain't won yet, but I got a strong inclination she will. And see, part of that will be determined. Remember how big it will be. Black female governor. How big this would be for some people. For a lot of us, right? At what cost? Let's keep going, y'all.
Next up with Tim Black.